Welcome back, Shalligators. Well, right now, everyone is talking about Jeff Bezos' $1 wedding to Lauren Sanchez. And more importantly, how did she get this rich man? How did this all happen? Well, I am doing something I've never done before, which is re-releasing a video. I did this video a year ago, breaking down her strategy, and I went back and rewatched it. Honestly, no notes. Go ahead and take a look at this, but actually, I do have a few notes. Watch until the end because I'm adding something very, very important. How to spot a rich man who does not want an alpha female, who does not actually want a partner, a man who just wants a pet. Because believe me, they're out there. And I think that fear of just being like this kept woman, this bird in a cage, is what keeps us from going for these rich men. We assume that they aren't going to value our intellect, our ambition, anything about us, just maybe our body and our youth. Who wants to get mixed up in that? But I can tell you exactly how to spot these kind of men from literally the first 10 minutes of a date. So go ahead and watch that. And if you watch this video and you think, man, I really got to get my shit together. I got to stop dating broke guys. I need a better circle of friends. I want this life. You know how to get it? Me. Join the Shallontrage and you have access to my recent Evil Week course, which is the art of social climbing. I use Lauren actually as a really good archetype of how to go from nothing to something. She grew up with a single mom who I think cleaned houses. Now she's probably the richest woman in the world. It's crazy. But there is a formula for it. I know because I've done it myself. So I'm going to tell you how to ingratiate yourself with rich and powerful people without feeling like an imposter or an outsider, or worse, without bankrupting yourself trying to look the part or fit in. No. None of that's required. I'm going to tell you the subtle personality shifts, the subtle grooming and behavioral shifts to get you where you want to go. So you're not dealing with these broke losers ever again. It's time you leveled up, baby girl. And I can show you how. The link is down below. Go ahead and join us. Plus, you get 5 extra videos a week and access to hundreds of alpha females around the world in a really amazing, vivacious, supportive community. So without further ado, take a look at my last year's video about Lauren Sanchez and learn how to finesse a rich man of your very own. Welcome back, Shalligators. Today, we're going to talk about a new profile that Vogue did on Jeff Bezos, the Amazon CEO's, well, he stepped down in 2021, who cares? The Amazon guy's fiance, Lauren Sanchez, because holy shit, right? Like, did she just step in it with him, like in the best way? This woman is a fascinating character, and we have a lot to learn from her in terms of how you snag a very rich and very powerful man. I really wish that this video had come out, or this article had come out a month ago, because it would have been amazing for Evil Week, but whatever, we can be evil all year round. Not just a week. God knows I can. How do you get a man like Jeff Bezos? How do you get someone who is a master of his universe? And listen, Jeff is taken. He's the 3rd richest man in the world. There's still quite a few rich men out there to go around. I read this layout of Lauren and I have extrapolated pretty much the things that she did that made her like catnip to someone like Jeff. So if you're looking to land a rich man, which you should be, don't mess with any broke guy ever. No. Listen up. We've got the blueprint. Okay, let's talk Mr. and Mrs. Amazon. Actually, I wanted to talk about something Amazon related. Did you guys know, I'm sure you shop at Amazon, I do too. When they have, like, say you're looking for humidifiers and it says recommended, like that little banner on like one specific one that says recommended. I always thought that meant like, oh, they're highly rated or they're the cheapest. No, that's Amazon's own product. Did you know that? That's them promoting their own internal product. And of course they like rank it higher. They put it on the top of the search results. And so that sucks because it's pushing out mom and pop businesses that are trying to actually sell on Amazon, which I did not think that, I didn't know who sold on Amazon. I literally thought it was like Jeff Bezos and stuff he makes in his basement, or like Chinese conglomerates. Like, I didn't know. But then a lot of my friends started selling things on Amazon and they're like, when we get sort of like ranked in the search results, like, I mean, it kills us, it kills our business. So just keep that in mind, that when you see that recommended banner, it is Bezos lying to you. Here's something I also discovered, because I went down like a rabbit hole about this. You know, the prices are going up for like products because of inflation. So there's this thing called greedflation. And this actually creates more inflation. When CEOs and like these companies raise the price, it creates more inflation. And then they get to say, there's inflation, I get to raise a price. It's crazy making. You can tell the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, that you think this is bullshit. So if you look into that, that's your call to action. Just feel like you have some power and beware of what they're listing on Amazon. Okay, so this Vogue article. So Vogue did this whole profile of Lauren Sanchez and by extension, Jeff Bezos, because how the fuck did she get this dude? Or you might be saying, what you might actually be saying is, how did he get her? So when we first met Jeff Bezos, you might have only become aware of him in the last few years. He was just typical nerd, like Kirkland signature nerd, like bald, sort of penis looking. And that man has gotten daddy-fied. Like he is like swole and like confident. And you're like, holy shit. If you look at a picture of him when he was younger, somehow he looks older then than he does now. And a huge part of it is fitness. But a huge part of it is he's banging a hot chick, man. So him and his wife, Mackenzie, got divorced. Okay, so this is what happened. So this was the tea. Lauren and Jeff were rumored to be having an affair in like 2019. And who started that rumor? It was the company I worked for, American Media, AKA the National Enquirer. I didn't work for the Enquirer, I worked for Star, but their sister publications, it's the same company, same boss. And I remember at the time, they were going to blackmail Jeff Bezos with his dick pics. The richest man on earth, who is already bald, okay? If a man is bald and like still so like ballsy, he is not afraid of death. You think he's afraid of his own penis getting out there? And also, I'm sure it's nice. I'm sure it's fine. And in the photo, he's like shirtless in the mirror. It's like a naked wiener selfie. Speaking of dick pics, right? They at all walks of life, they send them. They're like, look what I have. They just can't get enough of their own. Anyway. He looked good, like his body looked good. And you're like, I would assume that under those pixels, there is a reasonable wiener. I have a reasonable expectation of wiener. So I remember saying, I'm like, you're going to blackmail the richest man on earth. This is your plan? You want to blackmail Batman next? Like, where are you going with this? Like, shut up, Lester. I may have told this to an attorney general because it did not go well. And also you can't publish a nude. You just can't do that. The whole thing was so ridiculous. But it sort of forced into the light the fact that Jeff was maybe cheating on his wife, Mackenzie, and Lauren was essentially done with her husband, a guy who, okay, so this is how, Lauren Sanchez is like, I don't know what she does in bed. It's probably more like, what doesn't she do? You know, good for her. She married a football player, and then she married the head of Endeavor talent agency. If you don't know who these people are, who cares? They're incredibly high-level men. And it's like she just went like, oh, wow, a football player, that's huge. Oh, wait, somehow there's someone higher than that. It's the dude who runs like the talent agencies that like the biggest stars in the world are at. How could she ever get higher than that? Bezos. And I'm like, Jesus, girl. So her trajectory, she grew up really poor, had like a grandmother who cleaned houses. They slept in cars. She's a real like American dream origin story. She became a news reporter, became friends with Kris Jenner because she like interviewed her and Bruce when they were opening a gym and really ingratiated herself into the right circles. And then she became a helicopter pilot, first an actual pilot and then a helicopter pilot. And I swear this is her like magic. It's the tits, but it's also this helicopter thing because it sets her apart as being so different and so unique. It is proof positive that she is not a gold digger, or so these very successful men interpret. Okay. And I think that is point number one. She has her own thing. Does she have her own money in the way these men have it? No, but she clearly has something that they also have, which is drive and consistency. Do you know how driven and consistent you have to be to become a professional football player in the NFL? Or to run a talent agency managing the most neurotic, insane, awful people on the planet? Or to create Amazon? Your average Russian sugar baby isn't going to get that. Yeah, she'll be hot, but Lauren's hot. But the sugar baby is going to be driven only to get your money. Like that's not an external drive. That's not an external motivation. That's no real like life skills. That is a lack of understanding the trajectory of a very successful man, which does not actually look like this, right? You talk to any successful person. Oh, what was your rise to fame? Oh, no, it wasn't like that. It was all over. It was a fall down, get up again, fall down lower, get back up higher. It is something called grit and resilience. And I believe that these very successful, wealthy men fall into one of two categories: the Trumps and the Bezoses, right? And you can, people for whatever reason always come at me in the comments about when I say Melania doesn't really have a life of her own. Does she? What does she do all day? Does she have a business, a charity? What does she do? We don't know, okay? She was like basically an escort who somehow ended up in the White House, which truly seems like a hellscape for her. I feel bad for her. But listen, men like Trump, the flaccid, bombastic kind, okay? That's who they're gonna go for. Someone who's not gonna challenge their ego. They always gotta be the top dog in the yard with their chest out like they're gonna peck at birdseed on the ground. That's who they're gonna go for. That's what they want. A true alpha male, a Barack, a Bezos, they want someone who can kind of keep up. No, maybe not outpace them, because that honestly, at that level, like who really can? Some women can. But someone who is going to get it. Someone who is going to understand them. And Jeff had a very, very interesting quote in this. I screenshotted so many. You guys should read this. It's a great, like, they seem like the cutest couple in the world. I don't know. Am I like in love or something? Because lately I've just been like, oh, I'm a sociopath. And I'm like, Travis and Taylor and Lauren and Jeff. I'm just like so gooey and squishy over everybody. Oh my God, is this what it feels like to have a conscience? Blech, this is gross. No thanks. So this is something Bezos had to say about Lauren. And by the way, he's 59 and she's 53. And so I also love that they're age appropriate. You know, like I think with a man at that level, he could be dating a 35-year-old and we'd still be like, that's age appropriate, even though it's like a huge actual age difference. But they're like basically the same age. So I love this. I love this. One thing I learned about Lauren is if I'm in a bind, I can throw the gun to her. He said that at her birthday party in a little speech. I can throw the gun to her. What does that mean? It means I trust that woman to get me out of something. I trust her as my partner and as my protector and my defender. I mean, I think that's what it means. Do you have like a different interpretation of that? That's how I choose to interpret it. And if somebody said that to me, that's what I would think. It means he knows she has his back, which brings us to point number 2. We are a team. He even says that at some point in this article, like we're a team, like the two of us, we're united. Men at that level, and women at that level too, your world is very small. Your world can be small. You can't go out and make new friends. You can't go sit at the local bar and have a beer and just chat up like Dennis and Cooley from the local like 512 Plumbers Association and become friends with them. You can't. Your life simply does not operate like that. And when you let new people in, it can be a very scary thing. It's very vulnerable. And so for a guy to feel like, damn, I've got someone on my side. And yeah, okay, your board of directors might be, you have your lawyer who's on your side. You pay all these people, and you pay a woman too, just in a different way. But to feel like I can trust her. She's on this inner circle with me. We were talking a lot, like I said in the Shallon about sociopaths. Jeff Bezos probably is one, like, more or less. Most CEOs, most of these like high-powered type of people, male and female, usually are. Not always, but there's an overrepresentation for sure. It's a lonely thing. It's a lonely thing when you are incredibly strategic and ruthless and high earning and high value. And you have high-minded ideas. You're going to populate the world with like methane-free cows. That's literally something he wants to do. You know what that means? Cows that don't fart. I don't understand how this works. This feels like Jurassic Park. You want to go to space. These are lonely things. It's lonely at the top. And so the number one thing you can give a rich man is to make him feel like he's got a teammate in you. That you're not just another person trying to get a piece of him or trying to tell him what to do or trying to wheedle him in some way. It's like, baby, I got you. I'm your teammate here. And I think the misnomer here is, well, that just means, what does that mean? I can't ever disagree with him? No. Have you ever been on a team? I've played on a lot of teams. I grew up playing hockey. Like, we would disagree constantly. But at some point in our disagreement, we would pause and be like, it has to be us against the problem, this other team, this whatever, versus us against each other. And every man I know who is in a successful relationship, at a Bezos level or a different one, that is his attitude. It's me and you against the problem, not me and you against each other. We are, in fact, a team. And when that starts to break down and your partner feels lonely, ooh, that's when cheating becomes very possible, because like suddenly they're cast out and they have no team. This goes back to our need as humans for tribal and social inclusion. You think someone like Bezos is immune to that? He's probably more susceptible to it than anyone, because he understands what it's like not to have one, probably more than most people, because he's doing things that most people don't. To find someone who can truly understand his vision, his passion, his drive, who can like not just understand it, but it's like, oh, I've done that too. I also created myself out of nothing. I also created this thing despite all the setbacks and the challenges and the naysayers. That will get your hooks into a man better than your tits. Although if you have tits like Lauren Sanchez, I feel like it really doesn't hurt. Those things are like, talk about rockets. Yeah. The third thing that stood out to me about Lauren Sanchez in this article is how enthusiastic she seemed to be. I mean, Vogue is not a real like jazzy publication. You know, it's not like you're reading like a teeny bopper magazine. They're very like muted and understated. But the way they were portraying her and her quotes, I mean, she just seems to be like, wow. She even said, she's like, I say the word magical all the time. Isn't this magical? This is magical, because I'm always looking around our life and like, wow, can you believe we're here? Wow, this is so cool. And the writer said that Lauren hugged everyone she came in. She's very warm. And apparently, according to the writer, 7 different people that they interviewed described Lauren Sanchez as a force. A force. That means she's magnetic. She has a lot of presence. She has a lot of energy. And again, that enthusiasm. Why is that something that will get your hooks into a rich man? A lot of times, being very successful and very rich is very boring. It's very repetitive. Even if they're doing something cool, like they're an athlete, and you think, wow, there's a lot of excitement. There is, but at that level of expertise, there's a lot of repetition. You eat the same thing before a game, you play the game, you watch the tapes, you do your same workout, blah, 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 blah. You're in a different city. Same even with like a celebrity like Taylor Swift. You're on a tour bus, you're on a plane, you're doing the concert, you're saying the same thing over and over and over. In most people's life, whether you're a Taylor Swift or a Bezos or whatever, you're going to find a lot of repetition, right? And what do we know about the reason people cheat? To feel alive. To feel alive. What does an enthusiastic person give you? The reason I typically date much younger guys is because they're like puppies. They are so enthusiastic. They love everything. They love this chicken. Oh my God, you made this? Damn. They love their vape. They love your tits. They love this Jack Harlow song. They love everything. And I live a pretty exciting life. I don't think of my life as like ultra routine, but it can be, you know, everyone's can. And so to have that like, that infusion of vibrancy, it puts the color back into your life and you become addicted to it. What the fuck do you think drugs do? You ever been on coke? A lot of vibrancy. Everything is enthusiastic. And you do those drugs when you don't have that infusion from a healthier place. So if you can give this to these rich men, wow. Not true. Some of them want the like controlling mommy. Absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. But if they seem even reasonably healthy, I mean, you're going to have to figure it out. Try the controlling thing one day and then try the exuberant Lauren Sanchez route and see what they respond more to. I tend to think the exuberance is going to work, right? Because a lot of times, like, you know, the Russian sugar baby type, which I feel like is our mortal enemy as women who are trying to land a rich man, you know, if that's what you're trying to do, they can be just very petulant and bitchy and high maintenance. No, I don't like to go over there, Sergey. No, I told you I don't like this kind of champagne. Get this light out of my face. I don't like it. What, I'm supposed to walk to parking lot? Bring car through wall. This is how we picture them. They're not exactly rolling with it. Everything's like, this could be better. I don't like this. This caviar, who knows where it's from? Finland, not place. Bleh. But when you have someone who is like, wow, it reminds these men how lucky they are. It cultivates gratitude inside of them, and they will see you as the portal to that gratitude. They will also see you as the portal to their perfect 9-year-old self, right? When they were wishing to be on a yacht, and here you are, you're like, wow, baby, you did this? And they're like, I did do this. Huh. A very rich man that I was dating recently settled with one of these women. I'm trying not to be mean. She's the tackiest, low class, but she is enthusiastic. She looks like she eats on the floor. I can just picture her like squatting on the floor, tearing at a rotisserie chicken carcass with her fingers and her teeth. But she's enthusiastic, and she infuses his life with a lot of like wonderment. So keep that in mind. Another thing Lauren Sanchez is doing. She is, according to Kim Kardashian, a girl's girl. Lauren and I are always sending DMs building each other up, Kim says. Every time there's a look that we like, she'll say, wow, or OMG, you look amazing. She's such a girl's girl. Why is this good for rich men? Because it shows that she's confident, right? Confident women like other women. You don't have to like every woman. I'm a very confident woman. I am definitely a girl's girl. I don't like every chick. Like what? Because we both have like fallopian tubes. I'm supposed to be your best friend. Get the fuck away from me. But by and large, I am not threatened by other women. You know, I love chicks. Hello? You guys know I love chicks. And that tells a guy, that woman is comfortable in her skin. Shallon knows who she is and she's not threatened. She is judicious about her time and who she lets into her life, but she's not like, she's not mean mugging other girls. She can look at the hottest girl in the room and be like, bitch, you're the hottest girl in this room. And that is going to give a very rich and powerful man peace of mind. Because when you have a confident woman, she's not going to be the, I don't care where Finland is type of Russian sugar baby. That's sort of like a Russian crystal. Nyet! You know, sort of shades of that. She is going to be much more amenable to, let's say, you being the boss and you being in charge. She's going to roll with things. She's not going to give you a headache, because men at that level, they've got enough headaches. They're everywhere. They're getting sued by the Federal Trade Commission. They don't need a headache in their bedroom, in their Murcielago, on their yacht. They want something peaceful. If they're healthy, if they're toxic, a whole different story. We're assuming that these guys you're going after are healthy people, who are good people, and who may just haven't found the right woman yet. Next thing she does, according to Jeff, Lauren has amazing intuition, almost witchy powers in that regard. She sees things that other people don't see. She's really very sensitive to other people and what they're thinking. She sounds super strategic and Machiavellian, which I love. Also, Jeff Bezos might be kind of on the spectrum, so he might, like a lot of really powerful people are. I mean, so he might be very unaccustomed to understanding what other people are thinking. Like, I can't read your emotion. Like, what is it that you want? Even if he's not on the spectrum, he might just be operating at such a high level and be so powerful, he doesn't give a fuck what people are thinking. And so for her to be like, hey, like, here's how maybe you could get something better out of the situation. Let's hone in on what this person needs and how they're feeling. Can you see they're feeling anxious? Blah, blah, blah. She could really be helping him get softer, or at least giving him some insight into humans and situations that he on his own can't do. And that's not really like a position you can hire. Like chief intuition officer? Sounds like something that WeWork douchebag would have hired, right? Weird ass wife. So I think for him to see her as very similar to him, and that she's driven, she came from nothing, she's, you know, she picks herself back up, she's got a lot of grit, all these amazing similarities. But then here's how she's different. She's childlike and exuberant, and she's sensitive and emotional. Wow. So what have we seen demonstrated here? Dark feminine and light feminine. You guys, if you guys missed Evil Week this year, and my whole course on light and dark feminine energy and how to weaponize it, how to Lauren Sanchez yourself and get a Bezos, it's in the Shallontrage. You can actually buy it even if you don't want to join the Shallontrage. But if you do decide to join, you're going to have a whole bunch of new best friends. We have over 700 girls just talking and chatting. We've got 1 million group chats. But yes, you will get access to Evil Week, which is my whole course on how to do this. So if you like this video and you're like, ooh, I kind of want to know more about this year's Evil Week will tell you exactly how to get deeper into this and just pop in and out of this instantly. You will turn yourself into a seductive weapon, like hands down. Last but not least, here's something Lauren Sanchez said and why I think this was closing the trap around Jeff Bezos. So Lauren is talking about a college professor she had at a community college when she was 19. Quote, She literally changed the trajectory of my life, said Sanchez, tearing up again. By the way, I never used to cry. This is him, Bezos. I blame you. I made her vulnerable and soft, says Bezos with more than a hint of pride. I made her vulnerable and soft. I made her into a woman. I am a man. I unlocked her womanhood. She never used to give this to anyone else. She was so tough and spiky, but my love, not just my love, my protective masculine energy allowed herself to become the woman she was always meant to be. Because I am such a man, I have allowed her to be a woman. Lauren, I'm at your feet. I'm just at your feet. Fucking incredible. Incredible. I want you to learn this for yourself. This is an amazing thing to do. Credit your best side, your feminine side, your light feminine side. Credit it to the man. I just never felt like I could be vulnerable with anyone. And girl, hopefully that's true. I mean, this whole video, it's not about like lie and make all this up, but play this up. If this is true, amplify that. Let him know that. Let him know that. Imagine if the roles were reversed. What do you want to hear a man say? I never thought I could be a billionaire until I met you. Until I thought, damn, I've got that woman in my corner, my queen. I can do anything. I can colonize life on Jupiter, which seems to be what Jeff Bezos wants to do. I don't understand. But like, wow, I'm so proud of myself. My talents and my love has made such a difference. Don't we all want to think we're making an impact on the person we care about? Give that to him. Let him know that that is the case. And again, it should be true. If it's not true, don't say it. And don't even date this person. If he is truly not making you better, why are you with him? I was talking to a boy a little while ago, and he's like, what are you looking for in someone? And I had asked him, what are you looking for? And he said, I like teams. I want to be part of a team. I want to build something with someone. And he is a very successful person. He's not like, I want to open up a hot dog stand by the side of the road. Like he wants to open a wing in a hospital. And he asked me what I was looking for. And I'm like, I'm looking to not be the smartest person in the room. I am looking for someone who is going to make me better and who can help impact my life and make me smarter and stronger, and, and therefore I'm looking for someone who will let me help do that for them, that we can both be the wind beneath each other's wings. And we were essentially saying the same thing. We were looking for a teammate. We'll see how this goes. But listen, that is what we should be looking for. And it sounds like Jeff Bezos was, and more successful men are looking for that than you might think. The ones who just want the Russian sugar babies, you can spot them a mile away. Small hands, smell like cabbage. The ones who truly want another alpha female, if you sharpen your vision, you can smell them a mile away too. And honey, they're looking for you just as much as you're out there looking for them. So let me know what you think about this. Have you dated super rich and successful men? How did you do it? What was your method? Did you agree with like Lauren Sanchez's methods that I've kind of highlighted here? Or are you like, I think that's wrong, or I think that's right, or I would add on to it? Let me know what you think. Also, like I said, join the Shallon Entourage. Come and make some friends. It's the holidays. It can be a weird, lonely time, and sometimes you just need to rant about your family. And in a way, it's easier if people don't actually know you. If there's a little bit of neutrality versus if it's your best friends or your cousin or something, we got you. Whatever you need, girl, we got you. Come on down. All right, Shalligators, I will see you later. I'm back, Shalligators. It's me from 2025. Okay, I promised you in the beginning of this video some tips on how to spot the really toxic kind of rich men who just want a pet, a little fuck toy, just a bird in a cage, right? Because that is not what we are after. Honestly, some girls are fine with that. Bitch, more power to you. I don't care. If all you're out to do is have a pretty transactional relationship, sex for some rent money and some car, honestly, great. What a clean little dynamic. But I have a feeling that if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you want something richer and deeper and more complex. How do you get that with a rich man? First, let me say, and I talk about this all in my Art of Social Climbing course in the Shallon Entourage, you have to stop romanticizing poor people and villainizing rich people.
the worst people I've ever dated were the poor ones because they've got a chip on their shoulder. The rich people might still have that same chip on their shoulder and they've got something to prove. You want to cry in a Honda Civic? You want to cry in a fucking Bentley? The choice is yours, girl. But you see the same type of people represented in all social classes. So I have dated a lot of guys who it did turn out they just kind of wanted a pet. And I figured that out because I looked at who they dated after me. Some of these people could barely speak English. They're just like, champagne. And that's fine. It's a weird dynamic that works for them. And I see now that they and I were never really going to go the distance. I'm obviously a little too bold. I'm an alpha. So are you, I bet. So how do you spot these guys? How do you not maybe get down as far to the rabbit hole as me, as I did in these relationships, and get your heart broken or just get like very incredibly disgusted, right? Because the thing with a man who wants a pet, who wants to be an owner, not a partner, right? It's like any sort of, I don't want to call this abuse, but in broad strokes, let's just say that this falls under the purview of something unsavory, whether it's abuse or whatever. They don't lead with it. No woman gets hit on the first date, right? No guy sits down over vodka soda and is like, oh, I had 5 of these before I left the house because I'm an alcoholic. Oh, and I'm never going to change. Hi, I've got mommy issues. We have to learn to read between the lines and exercise discernment. And discernment is truly, I believe, one of our strongest gifts as a woman, our intuition. We are not predator animals. I mean, we are as like a human, but we are meant to have a baby on our hip, tending the home. And this isn't like a feminist thing. I'm talking from like a biological standpoint. The men are the predators. We are typically the prey because we're carrying the baby, right? We are always assessing threats. We are looking for pattern recognition, even our vision. If you believe nothing else, believe our hips and believe our vision. We have wider hips to give birth. Men have narrow hips because they're meant to run, to chase down a fucking antelope and feed the family. Our vision, we have incredible peripheral vision. I can see something back here right now. Men, you can sneak up on those motherfuckers at all times because they literally have tunnel vision because they are meant to hunt, right? We have our head on a swivel because we're prey in these dynamics. Where am I going with this? We have a divine intuition. We have a gift of totality and discernment that men might not have. And we cannot let that lapse. So my discernment for these owner type of men, one thing that they do. One thing that when I see it, if I'm smart, I run the other way. If I'm stupid, you get down the rabbit hole. They monologue. They monologue. They will tell a story and it will go on for 10 plus minutes. I'm not talking about them sharing something. There is a big difference between, hey, somebody is opening up about something, they're talking about their family, a traumatic event, a turning point in their life where, yeah, it's open mic. They're on stage. It is the them show. And this goes, by the way, this goes for men and women. This goes for rich and poor because I see it represented in all areas of the population. This is not a Jeff Bezos rich man thing. This is not a poor guy at the bar. Well, and then I was at it. No, this is all over the place. And yeah, especially in Friends, we know girls who do this shit. There is a time and a place to share when you are talking and you're venting and you're sharing and you're opening up. That's not what I mean. I mean, this man will take an ordinary incident and it will be a 15, 20-minute story. And then as soon as that one's done, there's another one. It's like you've tuned in to a TV channel, right? And there's just continuing programming. There's maybe a little break in between, a commercial break, the credits roll. Oh, we'll have another champagne. He's going to go to the bathroom. But make no mistake, another program is coming on. Another program is coming on. Your programming, what you might want to share, is a non-factor. That's not a thing. That's not how TVs work, right? This man is broadcasting. He's monologuing. And here is the difference between the rich and the poor. The through line for poor men will very frequently be they are somehow a victim. Their boss fucked them over, their bitch ass ex-wife, their kids won't talk to them, the judge wasn't fair, rah, 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 rah. you will see victim narratives represented at a higher rate in a poor man than in a rich man. A rich man is no less annoying when he's like this, because his are all like, and I was the champion of the world. And no one had ever seen test results like mine. And I was the youngest ever Navy SEAL turned investment banker. You're going to hear this always. This is a red flag. Why? Because it is not a conversation. It is something that is driven by insecurity. And if we know one thing about abusive men, not that these men are abusive, but it can be fruit of the poison tree. If we know one thing about men who do hit women, the Brian Laundries and Gabby Petito situations, what those men are the exemplars of is insecurity. It's kill the cheerleader, man. It's kill the fucking cheerleader. What is kill the cheerleader? If you're new here, you haven't heard of that. It is a man who started out small, became big. He maybe started out fat. He grew up. He got hot. He started out broke. He runs a company now. He was the overlooked geek. Now he's the guy everybody wants. He will kill the cheerleader as revenge for that small version of himself. Never mind the fact that he could date the girl. He could date his Barbie beauty. He could date his preppy queen. He could date his artistic goth princess. No. His ego needs to destroy her because it's this weird revenge thing. Women don't do this. Men do this, okay? Men do this. But that is born of insecurity. Monologuing is insecurity. And this is what I had done. This is the folly that I was making when I was dealing with men like this. I thought to myself two things, because they were rich. I don't fucking deal with poor guys. Number one, their stories are genuinely interesting. And hey, I like not having to be like, so tell me about your Aunt Teresa. Like, I liked that I wasn't shucking and jiving and filling the silences. It was nice at first to be in the audience like, oh, ha, ha, ha. There's another story. Oh my gosh. The date went by. I was learning a lot about him. I thought, this man is sharing so much. And then I got a little further down into these relationships, right? And I found that when it was my turn to share something, because I shoved my way in there, that's exactly how it did feel. That I would have to share something all in one breath. Well, I grew up with a single mom, but we traveled a whole lot. But then one time I got kidnapped in Africa, and sometimes that's why I don't like to go camping. Because I knew that this little window I had was exactly that. It was a commercial break. It was not actually my time for programming. And I realized even if he was like, okay, your turn, monologue for 20 minutes. I don't like that. I don't like that. I would rather have a balanced conversation instead of showtime. I don't enjoy that. Because what we are seeking in a true partnership with two alphas is in fact balance. It is balance. It's not feast or famine. I said nothing for 2 hours. And then the next date, I had to just talk and dump about my life. And I had to because I thought this might be the only chance I get. This is a red flag. So even if it's interesting, and even if you're like, I appreciate not having to do all the heavy lifting here, in the long run, no, you will not. In the long run, no, you will not. Because this man, it's his show. And where does that end? Eventually, he will be deciding things. And eventually, he will not just be deciding things that right now are probably nice for him to decide. Exactly where you're going to eat, what you're going to order. Maybe he even picks out the clothes you're going to wear. I fucking love that. I love an alpha man who's like, I liked you in that sundress. Okay, all right, daddy, that's what I'm going to wear. Like, thanks, give me some guidance. I'm dressing to make you happy on this date. What do you want to see? Please, I don't even need to look at the menu. Pick the wine. I don't know. I love it. I love being baby girl. I love it. But it's a very hard balance to strike between a man who is willing to take that commanding step and who also does not veer into this weird monologue-y thing. But in fact, that is how you tell. If he is monologuing while he's doing these other things, girl, that's not the best. Because he will eventually, if his pathology is, it's the me show, it's the Brian show, then he's going to start to look at your life And anything you have told him while you were blah, 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 either wedging your information in or it was now your turn to monologue, he will be looking at your information like a paper. He's grading. I don't, said you had a threesome in college? Yeah, I don't like that. It's an F. What is it you do on YouTube? Oh, yeah. No, I don't like that. I bet you're a sociopath. This has happened to me. This has happened to me more than once, where men who monologue feel like they're the captain of the universe and they insert themselves into my life, my behaviors, my habits, my career, my friendships, my everything. And they're like, well, I want to be in charge of this too. Get the fuck out of my life. Get the fuck out of my life. The pipeline is undefeated, unfortunately. And it takes a while to realize that. It takes a while to realize that that monologuing it walks hand in hand with control. It walks hand in hand with control. So when you notice this, and you will notice this, date number one. You don't have to see where the control is. You don't have to see the judgment. Don't wait around to see it. When you see monologuing, run. That man could maybe be a good friend to you. He could be a useful friend. That man is not a partner in the way that Lauren Sanchez has a partner in Jeff Bezos. That man is not a partner to you. He does not want a partner. He wants a pet. He doesn't want to be a boyfriend. He wants to be an owner. He doesn't want a girlfriend. He wants a fan. You're not a fucking pet and you're not a fucking fan, all right? And again, don't tell yourself that, well, this is only rich men. It's not. I see this. I live in Montana. I see this in poor men all the time. And they end up dating chaotic girls so that they can feel like a man, so that they can rush in and have a use. This is not new. This is not rich or poor. And again, this is not even male, female. We see this in women. Women who monologue, they're not looking for a balanced and healthy friendship. They're not a soul sister to you. They're not going to pull up for you when it matters. And if they do, it's only because, oh, now I have another story to tell that's self-aggrandizing at lunch about how I rescued Lizzie from this thing. I was on the scene and it was so dramatic and blah, blah, blah. You're just content, sweetheart. You're just content for people like this. But if you learn how to recognize these people, if you tap into your divine feminine energy of totality and discernment and intuition, they need not trouble you. They need not trouble you. These people are very corrosive. They shrink you down and they do it very quickly. I was shrunk down and I'm a pretty hard person to shrink. And if I got shrunk down, it can happen to a lot of us, right? I do not want that to happen. We work so hard to stand up straight. We work so hard to have a voice in this world. We're not going to be boxed back in. Sorry. You want a monologue, dude? Go start a fucking YouTube channel. Oh, wait. No one's going to subscribe? That's interesting. The other thing that will usually walk hand in hand with a monologuer, they do not have male friends in their same financial bracket. Why? They might have guy friends in a lower financial bracket because they're going to use money to big league. They're going to monologue because, hey, they're buying drinks for everyone. Table's full of Wagyu and it's on them. So the guys are going to be like, all right, fine. Like Rick took us out, whatever. Usually though, no. Because men in their financial category are going to be like, shut the fuck up, John. Shut the fuck. I don't want to fucking hear about a workout you did 30 years ago. This fucking guy, shut up. They're not going to take it. They will not be big leagued. I won't be big leagued. I won't have girls around who do that. I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. Like, I don't need this. I don't need to hear this girl brag with this bombast. Who the hell do you think you are? Do you know who I am? You want to come at me like that? I'm going to come right back at you like that. Don't try it with me. Don't try it with me. And that's what another alpha is going to do. I don't know what you think you're doing, but you're not going to run this game on me. I'm not going to sit here and listen to you monologue because you're buying champagne. I can buy my own. Thanks. Their time is valuable. Their pride and their identity is valuable. So if you are dealing with a man who does not have friends in his social strata, there is a reason. Because other men, his actual equals, find him intolerable. And so he's moving down the food chain as he sees it to just a widow woman. And he's going to try the alpha woman because she's smart, she's hot, she's put together. What man doesn't want to flex on that? What man is like, oh, my girlfriend's a pet. She doesn't speak English and she just listens to me ramble. That's not a flex, but that's in fact who they end up with, because everyone above that pet on the food chain is like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not doing this. I have better things to do. I'd rather be alone. I would rather be alone. The pet won't be alone. The pet would rather be like, than be alone. She can't afford to be. She has no life of her own. She has no trajectory. She has to parasite on to this man. She's a stray. You're not a stray, sweetheart. You are a bird of prey. You are a beautiful winged creature. Start acting like it. First step is discernment. What has been your experience dating rich and dating poor? Do you find that poor men are more loving, they're more empathetic? Do you find the opposite? Do you see actually no difference that men can be ridiculous no matter what color their credit card? I think we all can. All right, ladies, I will see you next time. We're going to be back with some more videos. Don't forget to join the Shallon Entourage and watch my entire course on social climbing. There's like 7 or 8 hours. It breaks it down. Plus all these videos of like refuting your obstacles. Well, I can't do it because of this. Well, I'm not born in the right circles. Well, I live in a small town. Bitch, I'm coming for all those excuses. We're here to blow you up. All right, I'll see you later, Shalligators. Mwah!